Okay, good morning guys, hope you're keeping well. So what we're going to look at now are perpendicular, parallel, vertical and horizontal lines. So within maths there are many different ways to describe how lines relate to each other. Now one of those ways is to call the lines perpendicular lines, and perpendicular lines are at right angles to each other. So if we remember, so we talked about right angles, so a right angle basically forms an angle that's 90 degrees. Okay, so if we have a look here, so remember we have two lines here, so we have the line L and we have the line M. Now they actually intersect at this point here. So they intersect at this point. Now what happens is because L and M they form an angle. When they intersect here, they form this angle which is 90 degrees. Okay, so they form a right angle. So these will be known as perpendicular lines. And again, remember, you'll always have this little box. Sometimes you might just see it. It'll be written, let me just, 1 second if I can. Okay, so let's just we'll use the drawn tools. Okay, we'll get the lines a bit better. So if I draw a line here like this, okay, and then if I draw another line that intersects that there like this. Okay, so we have two lines, we've just drawn two lines, and what we've done is we've formed, so these lines are perpendicular to each other, just like this. So remember this, like we could think about the whole thing. So this whole thing is, like if we were to draw just like one full rotation, it's 360 degrees. Now if we divide this up into four parts, this will be 90, this will be 90, 90 and 90. Okay, so 4 90s is, so if we divide that by 4, it's going to be equal to 90. And that's what we mean. So that's what that's what we mean by perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines, they are at right angles to each other. So you'll have, so these two lines are perpendicular, you get these right angles which is 90 degrees. Now, there's different ways that we can write this. So the line L is parallel to the line M, and this can be written as, so we can write it like this. So we can say line L, so this just represents this line here, line L, and we use this symbol here, so it's kind of like that. Line L is perpendicular to line M. Okay, so that's how you'd write it. So you write it something like that. So let's say if we call this line X, and we call this line Y. So again, we would be saying that, so line Y is perpendicular. So we use this symbol here, perpendicular to line X. So that's just like perpendicular. So the lines are at 90 degrees. They form an angle that's 90 degrees. It's known as perpendicular. This is how you'd write it, something like that. So then if we move down and we think about, so parallel lines then. So what do we mean by parallel lines? So let's move down here. So parallel lines are an equal distance apart and therefore never meet. So they're equal distance apart and therefore never meet. So if we look at, so we have the line P and the line Q. So we can see here that, like all along here, from here to here and from here to here, this is an equal distance. So it's an equal distance. Remember, this is, if we look at our definition here, this is what we're looking at here. So equal distance. And see the way we have this arrow here as well, just indicates that the line is going on and on indefinitely. So what will happen is these two lines will never actually cross paths. They'll just continue on. They'll continue on in each direction and they'll never cross paths. And when that happens, when you get that situation, the name that we use to describe those lines are parallel lines. So they're equal distance apart and therefore they never meet. Same as here, so we have three lines and these three lines are parallel to each other. they will just continue on indefinitely in this direction, and they'll never actually meet. So what we would say really is that what we would say then, sorry now I'm just trying to, okay, so what we would say then is that the line P is parallel, so this line P is parallel to this line Q. Now there is a way then that we can write this. So we can say the line P, and we write a P. So P, the line P is parallel, and it's just like two down lines like this to line Q. So what that means is that this line P is parallel to this line Q. Another important feature as well is that lines that are parallel to each other, they have this arrow, okay? They'll all have arrows like this. And again, that's just another way when you're looking at problems, for example, if you see this arrow, that indicates that the lines are parallel to each other. Now let's say if we were to call, let's say this line X, this line Y, okay? So again, how would we write that? So X is parallel, just draw two lines, to Y. So that's how we do it. So remember, parallel lines are lines, the lines are an equal distance apart, and therefore they never actually cross over, they never actually meet. Now another important thing to kind of just take into account as well is this idea of, like, when we talk about a line that is parallel to level ground is called a horizontal line. So horizontal. So again, see this, so if we look at this red line that's going along here, so it's parallel to level ground, so therefore it's called a horizontal line. So it's horizontal. And then a vertical line is a line that is perpendicular to the horizontal. Okay, so if we have a look here, just if we look in the room, for example, this line here that travels up from here up to here, that's known as it's a perpendicular line. Okay, so horizontal, so this is horizontal, it's going across, and then perpendicular is this. Okay, so here, that's not, we use our drawing tool, one sec. So perpendicular then, just bear with me now. Draw. So perpendicular then would be something like this. So that's what we mean. So this is perpendicular, and this is horizontal. So it's just very important that you know the difference between both. Okay, so guys, that's just the lesson for today. It's just short and sweet. So we're just looking at perpendicular, parallel, vertical, and horizontal lines and what they mean. What I want you to do, so just the work that I assigned to you yesterday in relation to Khan Academy, I want you just to continue working through that just for the remainder of this class as well. Okay, thank you. Hope you have a great day, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.